A current AEW star talks being fooled by a CM Punk backstage incident, but first, a former WWE superstar has hit back at reports on their high-profile departure. Mercedes Moné would bring an end to her days in WWE as Sasha Banks at the beginning of the year, this after allowing her own contract to expire before a move to New Japan Pro-Wrestling and Stardom. Throughout last year, it was reported that Mercedes and her then tag team partner Naomi had a falling out with WWE management, this over their creative direction, leading to a backstage walkout never to be seen in a WWE ring since. This week, Moné would appear at the New York Comic Con for a meet and greet and autograph signing, where a fan would ask about her WWE exit, where she responded to the reported reason of this happening. Whilst she didn't specify the real reason, she denied that creative had anything to do with it, before telling the fan to stop reading fiction, and let's play the clip.
I was New Japan Wrestling training you. I know that you had left WWE because of the creative issues. So
is that the reason?
That's what I read.
Oh, that's what you read. You weren't there. So no.
So what's the real reason?
Why would I tell you? Why would I just tell you?
I want to know.
You ain't gonna see my interview. You ain't gonna read my book. Right. You ain't gonna see me in the future.
I do all of that. Yeah.
All right, then just wait. Appreciate you. Keep on reading your fiction books, okay? What are we signing?
Listen to her, don't listen to yourself.
As mentioned, it remains unclear as to the real reason for the WWE exit of the former Sasha Banks. However, we can seemingly rule out the fact that it was due to her on-screen booking, with there seemingly being a much more deeper reason for her decision to walk away, with this apparently being WWE's side of the story. Next up, new champions have been crowned in WWE. On last night's episode of Monday Night Raw, undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso would put their newly won titles on the line for the third time since their win at WWE Fastlane, this when they took on the Judgment Day's Damian Priest and Finn Balor, the duo they defeated for the belts in the first place. The match wasn't without outside interference, as Dominic Mysterio of Judgment Day attempted to get involved before he was neutralized by Sami Zayn's timely intervention. Amid the chaos, Damian Priest capitalized with a low blow on Cody, followed by a razor's edge that sent his opponent through the announce table. The real turning point occurred when Jimmy Uso intervened during a referee distraction, executing a super kick on his brother Jey, setting the stage for Balor to deliver a decisive coup de grace. This allowed him to win via pinfall, recapturing the tag championships in the process. This victory sees Balor and Priest win back the tag titles that they lost just 9 days prior. The episode of Raw concluded with a celebration featuring all members of the Judgment Day reveling in their collective glory, with Dominic Mysterio holding the NXT North American title, with Rhea Ripley standing as the current Women's World Champion, topped off by the tag team title win, as well as Priest's Money in the Bank briefcase, with the Judgment Day once again on top of their respective divisions. And speaking of Judgment Day, a huge match has been added to WWE Crown Jewel. Elsewhere on last night's episode of Raw, a defense for the Women's World Championship by Rhea Ripley against Shayna Baszler would be cut short, leading to a new development for the upcoming WWE Crown Jewel event. The championship match came to an abrupt end when multiple wrestlers interfered, causing a disqualification. The disruption began with Nia Jax's entrance, quickly escalating with Raquel Rodriguez and Zoe Stark's involvement, turning the match into a chaotic brawl rather than the expected one-on-one title bout. Later in the evening, a backstage interaction between Ripley and Raw General Manager Adam Pearce saw the champions seek assurances that a cleaner contest will happen in the future, but her appeal led to an unexpected decision. Pearce responded by scheduling a high-stakes title defense for Ripley at WWE Crown Jewel on November 4, and instead of facing one challenger, Rhea will be defending her title against Baszler, Jax, Rodriguez, and Stark in a 5-way contest. Whilst Ripley has previously successfully defended her title against Raquel Rodriguez twice, neither Nia Jax nor Zoe Stark have had a shot at the Women's World Champion. The announcement means that there's now been 2 matches confirmed for the event in Saudi Arabia next month, where Seth Rollins is slated to defend his World Heavyweight Championship against Drew McIntyre following an accepted challenge on last week's Raw. But who do you think leaves Crown Jewel as the winners of the 2 announced matches? Let me know in the comments down below. Next up, a former AEW champion has gone face-to-face with a current WWE champion. All three of WWE's brands are currently battling for the signature of recent signing Jade Cargill, with the former AEW TBS champion making backstage cameos at each show over the past couple of weeks, as the promotion continued to tease as to where her future lies. During this week's episode of Raw, Cargill would once again show up, this time going face-to-face with current NXT Women's Champion Becky Lynch. The man is currently prepping for her next NXT title defense against Indy Hartwell, which will go down next week on Raw, with the segment potentially teasing that Cargill has her eye on the black and gold women's division's biggest prize. Lynch would then advise Cargill to get in line. The face-off comes off the back of a recent Jade Cargill-Charlotte Flair stare-down, as well as a recent interview with Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley, who expressed an interest in working with Cargill in the future, with options being aplenty for WWE's hottest free agent. And next, a WWE legend has offered some advice to a non-WWE World Champion. Rey Mysterio will go down in history as one of the greatest, if not the greatest luchador of all time, with him reaching a wider audience than any other in the lucha libre genre. With that said, there's a number of young talents looking to take the torch from Rey, including his own son Dominic, as well as AAA Mega Champion El Hijo del Vikingo, with both men tipped for big futures in the wrestling business. Mysterio would speak to the media this week, where he would discuss both men, starting with a chat with Ariel Helwani on MMA Hour. Rey would be asked if his feud with his junior is over, something he hopes isn't the case, before being asked if a hair versus mask match could be on the cards in the future, a stipulation that's a big deal in Mexico, and he would note, "I hope not. I think there's still more to give for both of us. A hair versus mask match? Why not? I would love that. I don't think we've ever seen that here. Imagine him bold. Don't imagine me without my mask, you already know." On a recent podcast, Mysterio's best friend and AAA booker Conan would reveal that he asked Rey to give some advice to his own world champion, El Hijo del Vikingo, with him seeing if he could get him to tone down his work due to the constant high risks that he takes. Mysterio would reveal what was said in that conversation in an interview with ESPN this week and said, "Overall, I said, it's happened to me. A lot of people would tell me to slow down. With all due respect, I just said thank you, yes, I will. And it would almost come in one ear and out of the other, until you start going through injuries and surgeries, and you're not slowing down because they tell you, you're slowing down because you need to, and you can't risk your body anymore as you did." I pretty much gave him that advice and told him he could still be incredible if he just toned it down 2 or 3 beats more. Pick the moments where you want to do your things to impact. You don't have to do it every night because they already know who you are. I hope that he takes the advice and doesn't have to suffer what I did, which is learn the hard way. Whilst Vikingo does receive some criticism for his overly dangerous style and tendency to take risks that could be saved for a bigger occasion, it's worth remembering that he's still only 26 years old. With his young age will come a level of naivety, although he appears to have the right voices around him to help guide him to the top, without going through the same rough learning process as Rey Mysterio Jr., or at least that's the hope. Elsewhere in the Rey Mysterio interview, the veteran of 34 years would be asked when he could hang up his mask and boots for good, with him revealing that he plans on retiring at some point in the next 2 years, and he said, "I'm hoping that it can be within the next year and a half or 2. Next up, a current AEW star talks being fooled by a CM Punk backstage incident. AEW All in London was an eventful night for All Elite Wrestling, to say the least, with the promotion breaking the all-time record for most tickets sold for a wrestling show, although this was somewhat overshadowed by what went down behind the curtain. One of the rumors that hit the dirt sheets at the time was a reported near altercation between CM Punk and Miro, this following the Second City Saints' initial encounter with Jack Perry. It was then later revealed that Brian Alvarez's report was false, with it being confirmed that the two men were just playing around. Well, it seems that Brian wasn't the only one fooled by the story, as Miro's wife CJ Perry would speak with Nick Hausman of House of Wrestling this week to reveal her husband played the argument off as real, and she would say, "I was like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that?" And also, there was a part of me that knew I was debuting. I'm like, oh god, can you just lay low, please? And you're going to be picking at the showrunner? Are you insane? So I was getting hot. And then the next thing I hear is Miro was pissed that CM Punk went to the dirt sheets and said he was joking. And I'm like, were you joking? He's like, yeah. I'm like, wait, what? So for like 5 hours, or until that time, he was selling the whole story to me like it was real, selling it to me like it was all real. And I'm like, so wait, you're telling me it was a joke? He tells me the story of how CM Punk is like, do you have a problem with me? He's like, yeah, and CM Punk goes, you want to fight? Miro goes, here or in the ring. I'm like, you're telling me that was a joke? He's like, yeah, oh, I forgot you take everything literal, CJ. So he finds it really funny that I believe everything. And before you go, make sure you check out what's next for the WWE releases of September 2023.